Hi everyone. Hello. Very nice to be here and very happy to see a very full session. What I wanted to discuss today is slightly different from what you've kind of heard in the past, hopefully from most technology companies. What I want to talk about is how you can actually leverage a technology partnership to grow your business. And this is very relevant for companies that are already existing in the online space and companies who are actually looking to go there right now. What I'll do is I'll talk about technology and where the Microsoft cloud ecosystem fits. And I'll talk about how we work with our customers to become actually our partners, and we can have a win-win situation for both of us, especially in terms of leading the market. And what I'll do is I'll start with some examples of organizations here based in India and how they're doing it. And I'll slowly move into what the Windows Azure Cloud Platform is, or what value it would offer for you. So typically, what we've seen in the last 4 decades is how technology has moved. And clearly, at least in the technology area, I know we are in Bangalore and a lot of you are techies. We are in the decade of the cloud. And about a year or 2 years ago, when we started talking about this in India, there was a lot of hype. But where we stand today, it's been almost 2 years since we launched the Windows Azure Cloud Platform. We have moved very fast and very far in this space. I know a lot of you are already avid users of cloud computing. You're using various offerings from various vendors, and I hope a lot of you are using the Windows Azure Cloud Platform. But if I start with a few examples, I have my friend and colleague here from C Bazaar. This is actually an example of an e-commerce company based out of India that is doing branding on their own. What Shailendra was earlier mentioned, it's a strategy that you could use to differentiate yourself. It offers high-end Indian clothing. Their margins are very good. They've never reached out for capital so far, and they have been very profitable. This is an example of a company that actually works with e-commerce companies. So it's an offering for e-commerce companies to go. It's a B2B offering. They offer site analytics, offers analytics tools to help you optimize your reach to your customers and optimize what sort of message your website throws out or you want to throw out to your customers. One of the founders is here today, and hopefully you'll get an opportunity to meet with them and figure out how they can help you scale and grow your business, right? This is a B2B organization, Direct Dialogues. What they offer is a tool basically to drive customer loyalty for you. And you would have seen most of the retail, so brick and mortar retail stores have their cards that you can use to collect points, which you can convert into merchandise or some sort of other value add that you get as a consumer. A lot of online companies are using, and there are a lot of offerings. But this is very different. What it does is, instead of giving you a card, it tracks your points and your usage through your mobile phone. And there is no card to carry. Everything is on the mobile. And it just uses technology in very innovative ways, starting with basic SMS, if you're a simple mobile user, all the way to Bluetooth and so on to be able to do that. And the fourth example I want to give is, this is not really e-commerce, but this is a company that built a Facebook game on cricket gambling. And obviously gambling is illegal, so it is kind of built around the gambling model where you can bet on cricket games, but then you collect points and use it. And they are hardly 1 year old, not even 1 year old, and they've seen tremendous growth from a few hundred customers to many, many thousand customers that have got onto the platform in the last 6 months. I took these 4 examples because all 4 are very different companies. They're all based here. They all were started by 2 or 3 people who had an idea and who had the will and risk-taking capability to go through with it. They are all running on the Windows Azure platform, cloud platform today. So starting from an e-commerce site, basic hardcore e-commerce, going towards a very complex high-performance computing application that runs in the cloud, to a B2B application that is very complex in the back end, integrates with your mobile phones, to actually a Facebook game. And this is a wide range of offerings that you could see coming out from using technology effectively, right? I also took this opportunity to show you something very different. This is where, this is the European Environmental Agency. What they've done is they have integrated with online GIS data already available in the cloud and be able to map and build a consumer-facing application that using existing services from the cloud and makes an offering. So even though this is a government agency and there's probably no element of commerce in here, this is an innovative way on how you could leverage cloud to outthink your competition. And this is what they have built. This is basically, they monitor water and air quality all over the European Union, and based on reports that are sent by mobile phone or through the web by citizens of the EU. And these reports are mapped directly, and they are able to take collective action across countries or across cities based on how these reports are collected. Very actively used offering from the EU. So what is this? What is this all about, and what is cloud computing? What I want to show you here is that how technology can actually not only give you an edge over your customers, or I'm sorry, over your competitors, but technology can also help you reach out to a market that you would not have originally thought about. What I also want to talk about is, before I get into the technology itself, we work very closely with all of these companies in terms of helping them reach their market. Very simple reason. It's basic economics for me also. The usage of my platform starts free. You can start with a 3-month free trial. You can build an application. You can go live within a few weeks. If it clicks, if you start getting a lot of traffic on your site, your usage will go up. But we are hoping that you will also be making money. And that is when your usage goes up, you start paying us also. And so this is a very simple model for you to start off very easily. Suppose you do start seeing a lot of usage, or you want to see you see a lot of growth, but you feel that there is more potential not able to reach to the market. The next stage is you are going to go to one of the investors, get a lot of money, take a big chunk of money, and start investing in marketing, which is what you are seeing from most of the e-commerce players and startups in India. That is happening, people who have already gone through first or second round of funding. What we do is, because it's a win-win for both of us, it's a partnership with Microsoft. I work with every single one of these companies. These are just 4 examples. I have many, many more, to actually help them grow their customer base. Because ultimately, I know it's going to impact my revenue also. The more user he gets, the more money we will also make on our platform. And we launch very detailed one-to-one joint marketing campaigns for this. We ran a very successful Facebook campaign jointly with Craig Gamble, and they grew their user base by about 300% in 2 months of this campaign running. And now they've taken off. I think there's earlier they were focusing on the India market because that's where they thought it was. After this campaign ran, they were surprised that now 1/3 of their user base is actually coming from expat living in other countries like the US, Canada, and the UK. With direct dialogues, we do direct one-to-one association with our customer base. They are focusing primarily on retail, brick and mortar, and online companies. So we have a good customer base with brick and mortar retail organizations. So we take them one-on-one into customers and help them build their leads and grow their base. Site Analytics is here today. We are working jointly, reaching out. You are actually Site Analytics customer audience, and hopefully you will see the value that comes from their platform that happens. So what I'm talking about is basically when you make the choice for a technology platform to use, you have to think very broadly. You have to think far and beyond the basic skill set that you may today have on building the technology, or you may have to think beyond what you want to use based on perception or based on pure technical reasoning. Because ultimately, as an entrepreneur, your goal is to reach out to the maximum possible customers and help you grow your market, grow your revenues, because that's what the intention is, right? So let me move to the technology also. Let me talk about what technology offers, and then hopefully there'll be some questions and we can make this interactive. So this is on-premise. Okay, typically when you want to deploy an application, all of these services are on-premise. So you buy a server, you buy the licenses, and you run it. The next step is infrastructure as a service. A lot of providers out there, GoDaddy, Rackspace, Amazon. Basically what you do is you replace your hardware, but you still manage the OS and you manage the basic software applications that you need to run your offering. And on top of that, you actually build your application. So I'm not talking about just a simple website. What I'm talking about is a complex application like the likes of site analytics or the likes of direct dialogues, which have databases, high performance computing, a lot of decision making analytics happening in the backend. And then the next stage is platform as a service. What it says is it not only takes away the hardware pain from you, it also takes away the software, the licensing, and the management pain from you. So what it leaves to you is the application itself, right? So you worry about the application that you think will matter most to your running your business and move on. And then of course on the cloud there's software as a service offering which says everything is provided by the technology vendor and you just use the service. And for example, email, right? So everything is provided by the vendor, you just sign up to online email and you start using it and be able to use. Windows Server actually sits in the platform as a service space. We're in the cloud. Hopefully offering platform as a service is a slightly better margin business for us, and it offers more value to you because you take away the pain of management completely from the offering. I put some more words here because I kind of pre-anticipated this question, which I get every time. How are you different from Amazon, or how are you different from Rackspace? And the fact is that typical offering from an infrastructure as a service provider is it gives you virtual machines, and then you install the software yourself. If you're let's say you're managing a database, you install a database, then you're doing the clustering yourself if you want high availability as you scale up and so on. Platform as a service, you download an SDK, you build your application in one of the web-based languages, and you log on to the portal, you click a button upload, you upload the compiled application, and there's a button, click run, and you run it. So there's no software installation, there is no clustering, backup, all that to be taken care of. So having defined what the technology is, the real question is what can you do with it? So of course, let me share some numbers on how we're doing in India. Okay, we launched about 2 years ago. We are a multi-million-dollar business now. About 2/3 of our business is coming from startups. Okay, these are how we define startups in Microsoft is organizations which are less than 3 years old and have less than $1 million of revenue. And because we believe once you reach that stage where you have $1 million of annual revenue and you've been in the business more than 3 years, then you should have learned or at least grown as much to outgrow the startup definition. But the balance 1/3 of my business is coming from large enterprises, existing large customers who are using the platform. For them, just take an existing application, web-based application could be something they're using and move it online. And also for startups, it's a key value prop. Okay, move it to the cloud, so I get rid of my hardware. So the next release of my application I'll put it on the cloud, and I don't need to buy brand new hardware and spend all that capex. And save it, convert it to OpEx, convert it to pay-per-use model. Then of course the next stage is, especially with startups, is deploy a complete application in the cloud, right? You build everything in the cloud. Your app stays in the cloud, your data stays in RDBMS in the cloud, and if you're talking to any other third-party, any application, all that also happens in the cloud, right? But the key here is, or the value that comes from, is this piece. There are a lot of startups who are not building end-to-end applications in the cloud. You know what they're building? They're either building a shopping cart in the cloud, or a payment gateway in the cloud, or just offering data, demographic data, geographic data, something in the cloud. And you would actually go and use those services to build your application or your offering on top of that. So there are options for you. You could become one of those providers who are offering e-commerce shopping carts and just sell those shopping carts online. And there could be an e-commerce player who could use your shopping cart instead of building his own and quickly build his business and go live using that. Now, what this does is this completely opens up a whole new world. And I've given a very few examples on what you could do, right? You could bring in weather codes from weather.com. You could have Facebook feeds coming in, building in your application. You could have stock codes. You could talk to geographic data. What you could also do is connect to complex applications at enterprise customers' place. This is what Direct Dialogues does, by the way. Okay, a customer's CRM is using Siebel for a CRM application. You have an offering where you say, okay, I'll connect to that, and I'll give you customer connectivity through my application or this customer loyalty application that I'm using. The cloud makes it possible, makes it very easy to do all of these things. And I don't have time right now. We'll maybe connect later on. I'm here all day. I'll give you loads and loads of examples on how companies are using this to come up with innovative ways to reach out to their customer and grow their market. So I have just one slide on the platform. If I didn't do that, I will not do justice, because there is a perception that goes with Microsoft, we'll lock you in or we'll, smother you. Windows Azure is a very general purpose platform, right? It's designed to build cloud applications. You could be building your applications in Java, PHP, of course .NET, Node.js, Ruby, Python, anything. Everything works on Windows Azure. What we offer is basic services of compute, storage, and RDBMS. In fact, we are the first providers of RDBMS on the cloud. SQL Azure, which is our RDBMS on the cloud, is now in this third release and a very mature advanced product. Beyond that, what we've done is made a lot of value-added offerings. That's why it's platform as a service. For example, let's say you want to build a B2B application. You want to have multi-tenancy in that. I have multi-tenancy API built into my SDK. When you use my SDK to start building your application, you want to make sure that you keep all your customers isolated. A B2B application, if you're selling to banks, let's say, every bank wants its own domain within your SaaS offering or your cloud offering, right? Ultimately, everything is running in a data center that is run by Microsoft. But is your data isolated? Is it secure? Where is it kept? So the multi-tenant API, tenancy API does that for you. You see tremendous growth. For example, Cricket Gamble sees these spikes for usage. Every time there's a cricket tournament where India is playing, Cricket Gamble's utilization goes up like this. From 200 users, it suddenly go to 2,000, 3,000 users. And then it tapers off and India is not playing and maybe some tournament is going on. And then there's a lull period when there's no cricket happening anywhere in the world, there's no user on Cricket Gamble. This up and down scaling, there's an auto scaling API built into the platform. Because every time you add more users, you don't want the user experience to go down. You want to make sure if you're running on one server and 50 users can communicate effectively and with good efficiency, suddenly you have 500 users, you want to make sure you have 10 servers in there. What Windows Azure does is you can code it. Every 50 users add a server, based on your application, every 500 users add a server. The server automatically, it's not a server, it's called an instance, automatically comes online and gets into a cluster. The platform is designed to do that. You don't do any manual work, it's in your application. Similarly, the other way around, because what's happening is every time you're adding an instance, you're paying me more. So when there is no usage, there is no cricket happening, you have to taper it down, you can actually code it. Every time my load reduces by 100 users, take down one instance. And all of that's automated. So there are loads and loads and loads of these kind of modules and APIs built into the platform, just to make it very simple and easy for you to build your application, go live, and start making money as soon as possible. Ultimately, that's the goal, right? There are other things like CDN, which typically, once you scale, you need to go to Akamai or somebody like that. We cost about 1/4 of them. We are very competitive on the costing of this platform, okay? We have never, ever lost a deal. I run the India business, I know, on price to any competition. And then there's a lot more. I don't have time to discuss this here, but hopefully you guys will be interested and reach out to me later on. The key being start for free. Start with a 3-month trial. Cricket Gamble went live in 5 weeks. From scratch to 5 weeks, they were live and running. Because of we provide a SDK for building Facebook games on Windows Azure. And using that and basically the idea they had and the skills they had, they were able to go live very quickly. So you could do that. So within 3 months, you could actually start, learn, go live, and see if it clicks. If your idea is good enough, you'll start seeing customers and utilization go up. only when the utilization go up, you need to continue and you need to get into a payment mode. So I think this is a great offer how it does it. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Microsoft BizSpark program. How many here are familiar? Okay, oh wow, quite a few actually. So BizSpark is a program for startups from Microsoft where we give a lot of our software for free to startups. Kind of software that a startup needs to go live. For example, our development tools, Visual Studio, our Windows Server for running. If you're doing web design, we have products that help you do the web design piece, Silverlight, if you want to do graphics, advanced graphics on the web. So a lot of these tools are free as part of that package. So it comes in a subscription every year that renews for 3 years, which is what we believe a time frame for a startup is to actually be successful. And the revenue model was $1 million. As part of the BizSpark program also, we give Windows Azure usage free, a lot of usage free. You get it for the whole year, actually for the whole period that you are part of the BizSpark program. This is some of the examples of customers and partners that we have. If you notice very closely, you'll see a lot of Indian names there, lot of organizations who actually start building here. They have an idea, but they want to sell in the US market. The best example that I've shown here is actually Direct Dialogues. They have designed an application for customer loyalty primarily for small mom and pop brick mortar retail shops. That was their primary market that they want to reach. And they see more traction happening in the US for them. So we joined programs. So we actually created a marketing program jointly with them where we sent them to the SME conference in New York that happened in October. And they were able to generate a lot of leads and convert it to a lot of business. Now they are a very good customer for me, right? They bill a sufficient amount for me to be able to, stand here and refer and talk about them. So they have been able to expand and grow through this partnerships. And that's why you see a lot of these on the partner side as opposed to just being on the customer side. That's all there is. I talk a lot about what's happening with the platform, all the new releases we are doing. You can build a mobile phone, Android, iOS apps, and so on Twitter. So you can follow me there, or you can email me. And if there are any questions, I'll take them now, or we can connect later also.